Hi, it's Manny, and I want to welcome you to Sociology. The textbook we'll be following is Sociology by John Shepard. What is sociology? Sociology is a study of social structure, which actually refers to patterns of social relationship. Now, microsociology is considered the study of people as they interact with daily lives, so it's on a much smaller scale. Microsociology is on a much larger scale that focuses on groups without regards to the interaction of people within it. There are three really important key terms we need to know before we dive into the rest of the chapter. Functionism, which is the belief that everything functions. It's like the human body, it all works together. Conflict, which is society is always changing. Society is always having a conflict. Something's always wrong. This is due to corruption, social hierarchy, symbolic interactionism. Thinks and expect behaviors based on social meeting. So people try to fill in these bigger shoes because they feel like they have to fit in or mold themselves into this person. It also has this kind of a cause and effect reaction to it. Think about the American dream, how people try to keep one-upping each generation. Chapter 1, the sociological perspective. The first key term we need to know is sociological imagination, which lets people see for themselves how their personal lives or other people's personal life could be infected by social influences. This can actually remove misconceptions we have based on people. For example, families with one child, or maybe even no children, are kind of frowned upon in this society. This is because back in the old days, when America is starting out, we need to have a high level of children to work the crops and the farms. But nowadays, our economy is not really based on that, and we can have one or no children. So, in long story short, human beings are affected by the social structure and also create it. Humanist sociology, which places human needs and goals at the center. Hashtag what benefits us. The next key term you need to know is liberation sociology. Their objective is to replace human oppression and place democracy at the greater good and create social justice. Hashtag what benefits society so we can all function together. The first time social scientists actually used liberation society was in 1954 in Brown versus Board, which eliminated separate but equal. Basically, long story short, liberal sociology is to make everyone equal. The last key term in this section is clinical sociology. It involves the use of social theories and principles and research to diagnose and measure individuals who fall under different groups and environmental impacts. How can sociology help you? Well, normal sociology can help you with race relations, human resources, hospitality, and daycares. Urban sociology can help you with urban planning, law enforcement, and social work. Crime sociology, criminal justice protection, the juvie system. This is the most important part of the chapter, and it's the founders of sociology. We have Adam Smith. He's not known for sociology, but he was an Enlightenment thinker that said that people learn through participation, whether it's through the family, through church, through the community, or through their government. He explains one's ability to follow social rules and how economics can play a part in different social classes. Auguste Comte is the father of sociology, and his main principles are positivism, which is the use of scientific observation and experimentation in the study of social behavior. Sociostatic is the study of social stability, and social dynamic is the study of social change. Harriet Martinek was an amazing American writer that wrote a lot about sociology. She also introduced feminism. She wrote how America wasn't able to fulfill its promise of democracy in a free country. She wrote that females were oppressed because they were too economically dependent on men. Herbert Spencer, who believes society all works together. We heard this before, it's called functionism. And he also introduced social Darwinism. There's Karl Marx, who kind of created communism and with his papers of the Manifesto of Communist, but he mainly talks about there's the bourgeoisie, people who own production, and the proletarians who work for the bourgeoisie and are the labor force. He believed that's the only way society can work. Emily Durkheim, a functionalist sociology, and she kind of saw that society was kind of changing in a way, and it starts off with this mechanical solidarity, which were social units that came from very similar values and beliefs, from strong social pressures from their families, and were very strongly based off tradition. But then we started moving off of that into this more organic solidarity, which is more common in today's society, where people kind of become their own person and work to achieving that. Max Weber, who believed in this, I can't really pronounce it, so... which is the understanding of social behavior by putting someone in their own shoes. Hashtag walking in a mile in someone else's shoes. Then he also created the sense of value-free research, which is basically research without no bias, without anyone's opinion affecting it, which is pure analytical data. The main three sociologists that we really need to know are Marx, Weber, and Dunkermine. They kind of make this triangle of perfection in sociology. Manifest functions are functions that we can see right now and are recognizable. They can go a bit away later, and they're just concepts in society that we understand and some things that affect us right now. Latent functions are unintended or unrecognizable functions that we can't see right now why it's going on or why it's affecting our society, but what comes up a bit later. Dysfunctional means that there's something negative going on and it's just causing a negative outlook or a negative flow to things, and conflict theories always talk about this. Power is a tool to control people and their thought process. The way someone comes about power is by having this hierarchical position. For say someone you trust, like a king or a doctor, they all have power in you because you see something greater in them, because you want to follow them and they follow their direction. Let's go back to microsociology. We have things called symbols, which we choose as a culture to represent something. Like this means the peace sign, but in other cultures it could mean the middle finger. Symbolic interactionism is this theory that people are able to communicate and interact with each other because they have a mutually understanding of different symbols, like the peace sign. In microsociology, we have a sociologist named Ervin Goffman. And he's a very interesting fellow because he came up with dramaturgy. I can't really say it, but basically what it means is that life is a theater. Your own interaction is like the theater. The presentation of oneself is that we kind of show off who we are as a person. Like the way we dress is our costume. It shows who we are inside. Our tone of voice expresses our feelings and our personality as well. It's this whole dramatic thing. And a really cool part of this dramaturgy is the backstage and upstage. Now, backstage, as you must know, is a part of the stage that isn't really looked at people. It's kind of backstage. You don't really see what's going on. So that kind of reflects how humans interact with their friends and not in a professional setting. While upstage or on stage is when we're on stage and we're expressing ourselves. However, we are more in a character than we truly are. For say, if I was giving a presentation in the middle of the classroom, I'm going to act much different than I would with my friends. My friends being backstage, and my presentation is my upstage or onstage. There's another section called Two Emerging Social Theories. One is feminism, and liberal feminism. It focuses on equal opportunity for women and progresses on women's rights. Radical feminism traces the oppression of women to a male-dominant society and how they tend to be economically based off men and how men tend to capitalize on women while they're out working and women are back home, cooking, cleaning, and stuff like that. It's really this old-timer feel of it. The other emerging society theory is post-societal theory, which is this more modernist theory. It refers to this broad change beginning of the late 19th century after World War II. Postmodernisms believe that reason is an unreliable way to look at the world, that we won't really know the truth. There's so much possibilities that could happen, and that science can only take us so far, and we will never know the full truth. A post-industrial society is kind of a consumer society where people are always producing goods and creating goods and not really working on the farms for themselves. It's more on a larger scale. Consumer society. Globalization, the last key term we need to know for this chapter, which is the rapid spread of information through one part of the world to the other. How information keeps vastly expanding everywhere to the world. How you are getting this video because of the internet. And I will see you next video.